So here we are back with my ruckus, and I've installed a couple of things on there. I went ahead and changed out the exhaust. I used to have this Yoshimura exhaust on there, but it was just way too low, and it kept on slamming on everything. And I've had to weld it like a couple of times. You could see it's just beat up, and it always cracks along the flange, and I've already welded it a couple of times. So I decided to go with something else, and a few months back I had seen some posts on Instagram for this spiral exhaust from a guy, Savage Customs, and he makes several different styles of exhausts, and I went ahead and ordered this one from him for like $350 or something like that. I did, when I asked him to make it, though, I had asked him to offset the top pipe off to the side a little bit because I had this catch can, which would have been further out this way. And he said, yeah, no problem. But when I got it, it obviously didn't come that way. So I ended up moving the catch can over to this side so I could clear the exhaust. I mean, other than that, it looks like it's made very well. Um, and it sounds really good, and it bolted right up. So for the most part, it looks like it's a pretty good piece. The other stuff that I had got was the rear sets that I bought from the ruck shop, and also I went with the pegs from a guy that I also saw posts on Instagram. His company is called Zen Customs, and I'll put links to all of this stuff, all the guys here, below the video. And I already put everything on. The only problem is that I encountered was that this bolt is too short for my application because I have the Password JDM motor mount, and it requires that it has like a 4-inch bolt, and this one was really short, the one that came with the kit. So I put this stainless steel bolt in there, and it looks like crap. So it came with a bolt like that kind of looks like this, but it's shorter. So I'm gonna have to modify that bolt so it'll be longer, so it'll fit, like this, and look nice, like this other side. Now I have it all taken apart because I also changed out the brake levers, and when I tried to start it, this has been sitting all winter, and so I tried to start it and it didn't want to start, and it just turned out that one of the start buttons, the wire got loose, so I have to resolder it. So it's no biggie, no big problem. But yeah, the other bolt kind of looks like this, nice and clean, flush, and so I'm going to go ahead and make that bolt. That way it'll look a lot nicer and more clean. Okay, so here is the bolt that came with the kit. I need it to be at least 4 inches. We're at 3. So I can go one of two ways. I can either use this longer bolt, cut it somewhere right here, and then weld it together somewhere in between here. But the problem is with this bolt, it is stainless steel, but it's a standard pitch thread, and it's not, and you'd have to use a different nut on there, which is fine. But I want to keep it with the same thread, which I believe is a metric thread that came with the kit. If I cut this head off of this bolt and weld it onto here, that'll give me a little bit longer, more than 4 inches. So what I'll do is just cut the head off of this, grind it to a point on one end, and then grind this one to a point, put them together, and then TIG weld them, and use a lot of material around to get enough so where I can rethread it. I mean, I just need to get it to where it slides in and out of that fitting that I put inside the frame. Ideally, just to make it look nice, I thread it all the way. It really doesn't matter because it just needs to be threaded up to this point right here. In between here doesn't really matter because it's going to be hidden. So I'm going to go ahead and cut off the head off of this, grind them to the point, and then weld them. Alright, so I cut the head off, the shorter one, and ground that down to a point. Ground the end of the longer bolt to a point, and basically what that does is that gives you more of a surface area for welding. It just makes it stronger. I've already cleaned it down with some denatured alcohol, and it's ready to weld. I got it set up in this angle iron so it's centered, and now I will weld it together and see how that goes. So here we are. The welds are done. It took a couple of passes because I had to build it up, but overall it looks pretty good and it's straight. So next thing is you just need to grind it, make it sure it's round, and then get a tap or a die actually, and go over the threads and just clean them up. So here it is, the completed bolt. It's long enough, as you can see. The only problem that I think I might have is this exhaust is too close to the peg, and it's loose right now because I'm going to make a heat shield kind of that goes something kind of like this, I guess. This one is, I made this earlier. This is made out of stainless steel, and I'm probably going to just cut it in half and use that instead, and then get a bracket that comes off the back, goes through here, or even mounts at this point, and then L-shaped comes out to here and welds on to the plate heat shield, and that way it just kind of sits like that. That way my foot doesn't touch the pipe. And I think that's it. But it's yeah, this is the way it looks. I think it looks way better than the just the Password JDM pegs. The ones that almost take your leg off when you just barely scrape it. As you can see, I have scars on my legs from them. But yeah, it looks really nice. These are really nice. These pegs from Zen Customs, all solid machined, really good stuff. The rear sets from the Ruck shop are all machined from a solid piece of aluminum as well. They come with all the mounting hardware. Like I say, if you have a special setup like mine, you might have to do something like I did, or just order a longer bolt. I just couldn't find any with this head. So I just decided to make one since I can, but other than that, I don't know. I'm thinking of redoing the paint on this because it's chipped all over the place. I mean, I've had it almost 2 years now, or I probably have had it 2 years, and I've ridden it a lot, and I'm thinking of actually making another one, and but I'll keep this guy because I put so much work into it. And there's a car show coming up in June. Today is April 29th, and I'm going to get it ready to get put in this car show. I got to clean it up, touch up some paint chips, clean it up really good. So yeah, should be a good time. But thanks for watching. Again, I'll put all the links to all the where I bought all this stuff down at the bottom of the video. Give it a thumbs up, and catch you later.